Why I love The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Everyone had their first Zelda game. Kids from the late 80s and early 90s loved the NES and SNES titles. This subsequently makes them hate the 3D Zelda titles like Ocarina of Time. Those who love Ocarina of Time subsequently think that it was the greatest thing ever made in existence. And people who love Wind Waker, well, I just don't get these people. And don't even get me started on Majora's Mask. Now, I'm a Zelda fan oddity. I love Twilight Princess, but the general consensus on the game is no more than And it wasn't so much that it was my first Zelda game, but rather that it was the first that I really got to sink my teeth into. I was too young or stupid to understand Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. I got 3 days? What am I gonna do? In light of this, I was hooked to Twilight Princess in the same way the preceding titles made the series the monument that it is. Sure, it's probably the easiest 3D Zelda title ever, with fairies in the final boss fight, and enemies really not doing a whole lot of damage. The dungeons aren't even that difficult, as most just focus on using the item that you get within that dungeon, with little room for actual problem solving. But to me, I loved the fact that I never really got stumped. I got to enjoy the story for what it was, and my progression through the story felt just like that. A story. For the first time in a Zelda game, I felt like I could truly connect with Link on a personal level. He was still that silent protagonist, but his existence played a role in the story for more than just being the hero. Take Ilia, for example. She plays the role of Link's childhood friend. Their history is rarely, if not at all, mentioned, and I feel like it lets you, the player, empathize her existence. We all had that one significant other that we've known since childhood, and it's reflected in her character. Seeing the contrast between her sharing items with Link to snapping at him for not taking care of Epona, it shows the emotion of a long-term friendship, without having to explicitly explain their relationship. The entire game really puts you in the role of Link better than any other Zelda game, in my opinion. I remember playing late one night on my first playthrough. I had just completed the Lakebed Temple, I was proud of myself, and I was ready to put the game down, and... This moment really got to me, like I was legitimately freaked out. We didn't know much about Zant at this time in the game, just that he was the bad guy, and I guess that sort of made a good villain in a sense. Later he kind of, well... Look, I still like it, okay? Speaking of the whole Twilight realm, Midna also makes for a much more compelling companion over...
Hey, listen!
If anything, her character is more the focus of the game. Even Zelda doesn't play a large role. She's just sort of there, but as a Zelda fan, we know her importance already. And I guess that's why I love it so much. Although the game really shoehorns in Ganon and Zelda near the end, I feel like the whole Twilight Realm plot, Ilia as a character, and all the other new characters really built the world to be a lot different from other Zelda games. In fact, it's hard to consider this iteration of Link to be a part of the whole noble lineage that every other game tries to sell him as. He feels the most realistic as a player character. He's not just saving the world, he's protecting his friends and staying true to his roots, and that's why the game touched me on an emotional level. To this day, hearing Ilia's theme reminds me of fond memories, and that is why I love The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.